Hey, it's Percival Whitmore here with Share the Keys, inviting you to the table, sharing keys with you. You already know it's the Why Flint podcast. It's something great, something awesome as always. Hope your day's going great. I know this is a new setup as far as you see on the screen, but guess what? I made it different because I'm talking about something real key in my movement and the whole Share the Keys type of environment, as far as what I do, what we stand for, and being that we focus on young men and trying to impact them as far as communicating their ideas, values, and visions to be able to begin and sustain their legacy. So we're going to talk about part one. I'm going to divvy this up. It's going to be part one and part two. So I only do this because this is going to be a nice minute video. But other than that, let's dive into it. Part one. So part one, exchange. What is exchange? When I think about exchange, of course, I watched a video of this great man who is big on leadership, John Maxwell. He's the GOAT of teachers. I can call him that. He's the GOAT of leadership. And so when he talked about leadership, he talked about how people run marathons and how in a marathon you have anchors, you have all these specific roles so a race can be won. So a group of people can win a race. So the way a marathon works, I may mess this up, but it is what it is. So you have an anchor, then you have another runner who you pass that to, and there's a baton that you pass to each person. There's no different baton. It's only one baton given to each group. And so with each group, you toss it, you run to the next person, then you hand it off, and then you toss it to the next person, then you run, and then you toss it to the next person. And then the person who just so happens to be the last one runs and finishes to the race. So I love this. I just want to park here as far as part one and just focusing on the race. The race that we have in life, the race that you're running. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your name is. But I'm just here inviting you to the table so we can talk, And so just like John Maxwell talked about the marathon and how it's so needed about how you exchange is how you will leave somebody off. Sometimes in life, especially for me, I know that I try to prepare so much for that exchange that I forget about my role in the race. You could be so focused on trying to do something and invest in someone else that you can lose focus in your own destiny and your own dream. So the reason why we talk about legacy, the whole thing about exchange is the fact that it is needed in our community. So very needed. It's so very needed, man. Especially with how I've grown up in the city of Flint. I've been in the city of Flint for over 10 years. And my experiences in the school system, it's like we need an exchange in every environment. We need a financial exchange. We need a community exchange. We need a family exchange. We need brother and sisters exchange. We need brother to brother, sister to sister. Everybody needs to exchange because there are generations lacking and missing in areas where an exchange was supposed to happen. Predominantly in the city of Flint, there's single mothers. It's about a good 70, 60, 70, 80% chance that well, not even chance, it makes up 60 to 70 to almost 80% of Flint. The inner city of Flint is composed of single house women. Like, dude, that's crazy. Like, we have all these kids and where are the dads? And I know it's something that people are trying to figure out. People are trying to understand. And we have these great organizations like Involved Dad with Sean Hart. And we have all these other great organizations. We have people in the community doing their thing. And I give kudos to y'all. And the thing is that the reason why I bring up fathers, I bring up mothers, I bring up the community, I bring up finances is because our generation, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things happening There's a lot of life and death transitions happening in our lives, and we need to be able, as a generation, to take, and not only just take, but be able to handle carefully the baton of the past, the baton of those before us, the baton of those who marched and fought for us. We need to be able to carry those batons and continue the race. A lot of us are focused at the end. How will I end up? What's my role in this? How can I make it? How can I do this? Some of the most crazy things that I could tell you about myself is that I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker. And when some of you guys might be thinking like, Percy, this has nothing to do with exchange. This has nothing to do with exchange. I'm trying to tell you, in order to exchange something, people must first know the value. It literally, in the dictionary, it talks about how exchange is the transfer of a value in exchange for another value. And 9 times out of 10, those values equate to the same worth. So I'm trying to give you guys something that's worth your time. So with me being a person who overthinks and I look too far ahead, if you go listen to my previous podcast, I break down dreams, reality, visions, and all these other things. So when you listen to it and when you talk back, or not even talk back, but when you think back on it, it's something that I really fell short in. It was a point in my life where even sometimes today where I'll look too far ahead. And because of what I see and because of what I imagine, it's too much. It's too much. Some of us are like that. We want to look so far ahead and plan everything out and map everything out. I'm going to be this at this age. I'm going to be here at this point in my life. It's good to have those inferences, those educated guesses, but take care of what is concrete. Another, you guys might be able to tell that I'm a big fan of John Maxwell because he has a book that says "Today Matters." I just got it. It's a book that's older, but I just got it. When my brother gave it to me, he noticed. He says that I carry the world on my shoulders sometimes, and so I took the book and I was like, "Yo, okay." Since I carry the world on my shoulders, let me do something about it. Let me change something so I could be able to exchange something to somebody else. So read the book, and everything in that book was talking to me. Everything in that book was talking to me. And I want to give you, whoever you are listening, I want to be able to let you know that what you're doing, ask 2 questions to yourself. Ask yourself, is it effective and is it manageable? Because what you have, remember what I said, as far as exchanging, there's a value. Your values are transferred and exchanged into a part to be a part of something that is valued. Your values are transferred with another value. And with that being transferred, what are you transferring to somebody else? That's the real question. I know you want to get out there. I know you want to go out. I know you want to do big things, but you need to keep yourself in check because whatever you do in private will transfer in public. You want to do these big and great things, but you need to be able to transfer what you can manage. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I know you look too far ahead. I know you looked so far, but you need to be able to, 1, make sure it's effective and manageable so you can be able to exchange your values, and also be able to understand that it's more than just passing a baton. What you're passing on It's not just for you. It's meant to be carried on for generations to generations. It's your boy, Percival Whitmore. Share the keys. Tune in for part 2. Coming right up now. Share the keys. What's good? It's your boy, Percival Whitmore, here with Share the Keys. You already know what's going on. You already know what's about to happen. It is part 2 of exchanging. Do young people have a seat at the table of legacy? So this part 2 is not going to be as long as part 1 because I went over some very key things. I talked about being effective. I talked about is it manageable. I talked about it's not just about you and your race. What you were given, what you've been gifted with, what you do every single day, what you're passionate for, is not just for you. The reason why you can do it on a whim, the reason why you're so motivated, the reason why you're so great at it is because you were made to invoke and exchange impact. So that's the next part I want to talk to you. Part 2 is about impact. Impact. What do you think about impact? When I think about impact, I think about, it's kind of crazy. I got to think about a meteor. I think about a meteor hitting the earth. And I know. Let me change it. Let me change something up. Okay, so impact as far as being emotional. You got emotional impact. You got physical impact. You have mental impact. Things. When I think about impact, I think about a force. Something that is moving and has a reaction. It has a cause and an effect that changes the course of the effect's life. That's me personally. But when I think about as far as impact and exchange and what all this means, Flint, we need to have an impact. I know I talked about before, make sure it's manageable, effective, and things like that. But young people, I want to tell you that you have impact. Your voice matters. Let me say that again. Your voice matters. Your dreams matter. Your vision matters. What you have account for matters. But let me tell you something. The one thing is that you don't want to be a chicken with its head cut off, doing all this movement with no intellect or guidance. You don't want to be somebody who is moving so fast that they lose guidance and that they lose the fact of instruction. You may not like moving slow because it's the fact that you have to listen and obey to instructions. And that's the thing. Back to the analogy of a marathon. When you look at a marathon, when you think about a marathon, we talked about how it's not only the baton, you're passing over values and things like that. But let's take it a step further. When you're passing the baton, it's the fact that in the race, they say that you have to pass this baton between a specific time. I think it's like 20 meters. Within 20 meters, you have to be getting ready. The other person in the race must be getting ready. So that means if I'm trying to exchange something with somebody, I can't exchange with somebody who's not moving. Yeah. So in Flint, we have to be able to, this generation, we need to be able to push and be able to show this next generation that I'm coming. You need to get ready. I'm on my way. Get ready. Something great is about to happen. I'm on my way. But the thing is that we don't hear that. I can't hear your footsteps coming. I can't hear your ideas. I can't hear your values. You think that I know you. You think that because you do what you do and I see you on this pedestal that I'm going to just go ahead and bow down and come to you. But that's not how the race is intended. I don't run to you. That's not a marathon. A marathon is not when the person before you who's supposed to take it to the next person turns around and runs to the person who has the baton. No, no, no. The person with the baton has to make the run forward and initiate an exchange. During that exchange, of course, before we talked about, is it effective? Is it manageable? Of course, it's effective and manageable. And not only that, the person who runs with the baton before handing it off to the next generation must consider, is this person ready? Am I going too fast? Do I need to adjust? Are they right-handed? Are they left-handed? What is happening? We need to be in sync because we have a goal to impact. In all honesty, I just feel like we're selfish. In urban communities, I feel like we're selfish. I was asked a question one time in this, was part of this specific event, a part of Flint, and it was so dope. It was so great. And I was asked like, okay, so how do you feel about certain areas in Flint? Some areas in Flint you feel like you're not even a part of. It's like they have all these batons. Like you forgot that this was a race. Did you forget that this is a race? Did you forget that there are other people in front of you that you need to position to run, to take this and run? Some of us do it too late. You have some people in legacy where people who have a baton who are trying to pass something off. And they want to choose who they want to pass it off to. They want to choose, which is not bad, but they choose at the wrong time. You passed your 20 meters, bruh. You passed your 20 meters, sis. You passed your 20 meters. I can't receive that. I'm too immature. I can't receive that. You're trying to give me a business that I'm not ready for. You're trying to give somebody a business who might look like they can run, but those who have the capability and the potential to actually invoke and invite change in their own community, it is neglected. It is torn down. Although we're taught to share when we're in kindergarten, we're taught to share when we're not in high school, but we're taught to share when we're in elementary and all these great places. But we start to move out on our own. When it's middle school, we start to let go of some certain characteristics and say it's me and me alone. Bro, if you got to do it by yourself, then you got to do it by yourself. I get it. I got you. But guess what? Just as passionate as you was doing it by yourself, guess what? You have a baton now, and it's your responsibility to give it to somebody else. Yeah, you passionate, right? You motivated, right? It's time for you to make that exchange, Doc. It's time for you to make those movements. You want to invoke change. You want to be a part of something great. You want to have a seat at the table. You can be invited or not be motivated. I want these young generations. I want us as young people to be ready and to be a part and to be so, just to be so ready and be ready for the batons that are coming. The batons are coming. That's what this should be called. The batons are coming. Are you ready for the baton that's going to come your way? Are you ready for the baton that's going to come your way? Are you ready? In part one, we talked about being effective and is it manageable? Right now, we're talking about impact. One, are they in position? We're not going to run to you. Our next generations, I know they're not going to run to us. But I, as a person, I Persevere Whitmore, CEO, Share the Keys, the founder, I have to position my staff, my peoples, to be able to be in position to make an exchange, not when they want to, but when it's the right time. So baton holders, look at your watches, because that time is coming about. Your time is winding up and that 20-meter mark is about to hit. And this young generation is starting to run. But we don't want them to run without a baton. Some of our generation in the city of Flint, we're running without any dreams. People come to school, I don't know what I want to do. Baton wasn't passed. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Baton wasn't exposed. They weren't exposed to it. Lack of exposure. Lack of partnership. Lack of resources. We can do this all day. But my main thing to you, what I want to leave with y'all on this podcast, I pray and you're blessed with all these great things with your dream, that you go as far as the stars. But I want to leave with you is the fact that when you go with your baton, check the time, make sure you're ready. And when that person that you've chosen to be a part of your dream, your impact, and to maybe further their dream, it's an exchange, man. Make sure you're ready. And make sure they're ready. Because this is what it's all about. If you haven't noticed now, I hope you notice right now and today. It's all about sharing keys. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Be blessed.